See what we'll find.
Dames Caves is located in Withlacoochee State Forest, the Citrus Tract. That's about an hour north of Tampa. You just go up the Suncoast Expressway, go east on 98, and then north on 491. So here I am at the caves here at Withlacoochee State Forest. Sun's going down, so I got to make the most of it. The main caves there at the front, a lot of people there, so I figure I'll come here first and try to just do a little exploration alone before I head down and check out the bigger stuff, time allowing. So let's do this. So this is known as Girl Scout Cave. Before you come out and try to go into these dry or terrestrial caves, you need to let somebody know where you're going to be, and that goes for anything you ever do out in the wilderness when you're going, especially alone. You want to make sure people know where you're going to be and what time you're going to be back, so they know when to start looking for you, just in case you get in a situation. If you've ever seen 127 Hours or read the book, you'll see the value of doing so. You don't want to end up having to cut your own arm off. So, you know, I get down into these caves. I did a bunch of research before I came. It's the first time I've ever gotten down into these dry caves, you know. So I wanted to at least know what I'm getting into. So it felt like I was about 50 foot down and in or so, give or take, before I come to this really tight passageway. It seemed a little too tight for me to squeeze into it. Maybe I could have, but with the sun setting as it was, it looked like it only was getting narrower in there anyway, so I figured not this time, maybe next time, but even then it may just be too narrow, too tight. I just didn't want to struggle with it. So after about 50 feet or so down and in, I decided it's time to get out and get back on my bike and see what else is out here before I went back to the caves that are closer to the entrance. This Girl Scout cave is probably about a mile, maybe a little bit better than a mile in to your left as you come in from the main entrance. So before I headed back to the front to check out the larger caves, I wanted to get out and explore a little more. There's more to this place than just a few caves. This place is vast. I mean, it's the Citrus Tract of the Withlacoochee State Forest. Withlacoochee is the third biggest state forest in Florida. That's saying something. There's some mega pieces of land, public land out here. So as I'm riding my mountain bike, I find myself descending this huge sinkhole and getting tons of speed, really catching out. And when I got down sort of to a lower level, it just kept on going and I had to stop. Because I was running out of sunlight and I still needed to go check out the caves yet. Whole lot more to see here. This place is definitely worth a second look. That's why I'm calling it part one. Much more to explore, so I'll definitely be back.
Good day, beautiful day, cold day in Florida, cool day in Florida. So, you know, bit of a crowd at the first cave. By the time I leave, there probably won't be nobody here.
So the peninsula of Florida is basically made of limestone. Usually it's covered up in your basic ground cover, your dirt, and then underneath that you have what they call hawthorn formation. That's the layer of clay. Some people call it gumbo clay. And that keeps water from washing out and washing off the dirt that covers these the limestone. Here, this area of Florida is part of the Ocala Uplift, and that's just a region where basically the hawthorn formation is non-existent. It makes it one of the major recharge areas for our aquifer, because the water can just go right through those rocks down into the aquifer and then recharge the springs on the Nature Coast side, which is like Homosassa, Chaslewiska, Crystal River, and then also on the Ocala side, which is your Silver Springs, your Alexander, your Juniper. Also, the Ocala Uplift is considered a karst environment. There are many in Florida, but this is one of the major ones. That's just whether you have your sinkholes, caves, and or springs. Okay, so this is it, kind of back where I started. I passed this right after I got into the forest here. And this is Dame's Caves, or Dr. Dame's Caves, aka Vandal Caves. Obviously, you can see why. There's graffiti written all over the walls inside, and all over the rocks and whatnot. There's this big hole up top, and you got to be careful. There's another smaller hole that you could totally fall through and get seriously hurt. So anyway, I dropped in one of the entrances here, and there was a couple others I didn't get to explore, as I was trying to beat the sunset. So just like a lot of these parks and nature preserves, this place is open from sun up to sundown. And I guess after being a park ranger all those years, I always like to try to get out of the parks on time, and that way make it easy for the park staff. So this by far was the largest of the caves that I got into. There was big open rooms that you could walk around upright in without having to duck down. Kind of a chamber, you take a tunnel up into a large chamber, and then there was a really sort of small hole, that's what I'm going through now, to get down into a lower chamber, which was fairly large once you got down into it. Now once down into the lower chamber, it's I guess a fairly good sized room, but there on the ground level is a little tunnel, and you have to get down on your belly and slide under it if you want to move forward. It is not for the claustrophobic. So at this point you can see that I'm basically half in one chamber and half in the other. I basically scoot all the way in, and this is about where I turned around and head back out. But it's just a crazy sensation being that far underground and then getting down on your belly and going into another cave. Like it's almost like you're in a cave going into another cave, something else. Yeah, so this trip to the cave was very exciting, very enlightening. I can't wait to get back and do some more exploring here, and also some of the other caves that are here in Florida. I feel like I got like just a tiny taste of the challenges and the opportunities that spelunking and caving have to offer, and I'm definitely looking forward to more. Being down in those tight, dark, confined spaces, you have no sense of what could be around each corner. What will you find? Will you find danger? Will you find new discovery? Will you find fear and panic? And then will you find the courage and the heart to continue on? And as you probe the darkness, you realize that the darkness is also probing you, making your ascension that much sweeter as you return into the light.